Hi, everybody. My name is Garrett Hoddle with Podcast Architects. Today, I am joined with Dr. Christian Faltis, the Texas A&M International University COE Chair. And I'm also joined with Erica Remington, a cooperating teacher with Laredo ISD. People sitting at home may wonder what those titles mean. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Faltis. What does your title mean, COE Chair with the university?
I'm the chair of the department, and that means that I handle all of the sort of scheduling and any sort of issues in the classes and with the faculty. So I meet with the faculty on a regular basis, and we have communication about how classes are going, what's going on. I also do a lot of hiring of adjuncts because some of our courses are taught online and we need additional people, so I do all of those kinds of things as well.
Mm-hmm. And Erica Remington, cooperating teacher with Laredo ISD.
Well, that title just basically means I work with our student teachers, make sure that they have everything that they need, all the support. I also make sure that we plan, that they're ready for the real life practices. So when they do graduate, they know exactly what to expect when they get out in the workforce.
And that kind of brings me to my first question, actually, if you don't mind. In your opinion, what is the role of a cooperating teacher?
Definitely to be very supportive, understanding, and share all the knowledge we can with them. Give them just that real world experience. Let them know what to expect. They've been in school for so long and they've been taught the theories, but there's nothing like real world experience.
And I kind of want to tie that in. Here's a question that hopefully encompasses that, and both of you guys will be able to answer. But how does Texas A&M International University faculty and cooperating teachers establish systems for the purpose of both ensuring that teacher candidates' performance and data are mutually analyzed?
Yeah,
I know that could sound kind of complicated.
No, but it's a good question because we should be doing with our students and evaluating them, giving them practices that are going to be relevant to the classrooms in which they're going to be placed. And the cooperating teachers and the teachers that work with us also need to know what we're doing here. We need to know what they're doing there. So we do have, I think, a really good relationship with LISD in particular because we meet together as faculty. We understand the kinds of evaluation systems they use. We understand the requirements for dress, for the amount of time, when they take over a classroom and those kinds of things. So there's that really good connection between both TAMIU and the school district, and I think that's really important.
I would agree with you, and I want to say part of the evaluation process is actually tied into our T-test, which is the way the state evaluates us as teachers. So I do agree. We work hand in hand. And
you know, all of our faculty in our teacher ed program go through annual training on the T-test. The T-test is an evaluation system that's used in the state of Texas, and it's based on 5 categories. And so to get reliability on what we see and what they see and what the faculty see in general, we go through that training with an expert, and we come out so we know what we're looking for in the T-test. And I think that's really important because that's what the school district does, and that's how they evaluate our student teachers.
And Dr. Faltis, you're kind of tying into my next point, almost like you looked at the questions ahead of time.
I can't imagine.
In your respective role as the College of Education Chair, how do you evaluate teacher educators' performance?
So that's a slightly different thing. So we don't use the T-test for that or an evaluation. We have a couple of ways that we do that. Because the university is a little bit different from public schools in the sense that, yes, we're both teachers, but the university faculty comes in and they're able to do their classes to a large extent the way they understand the pedagogy, the pedagogical knowledge, the ways of practices that are going to be used in the schools. And we evaluate them by going in and observing their classrooms. We usually have a more senior faculty member that goes in and observes them using a slight variation of the T-test, but it looks at how well they're prepared, Do the students understand the objectives that they're trying to deal with that day? Are the students engaged? Are the students able to have conversations among themselves? So those are the kinds of things that we look for. That's one area of evaluation that we do. The second one is, like in all universities, the students evaluate the faculty and the course itself. And those student evaluations and written responses about the class are something that go into our annual evaluations. And those are really important for the area of teaching, because we're responsible for teaching, service, and research. And that's the way we do it at TAMIU, and I think most universities have a system like that.
And Erica, in your respective role as a cooperating teacher, overseeing teacher candidates and field-based experiences, how do you ensure their reliability?
Definitely, there's a lot of communication that goes on.
Absolutely.
With I've had 2 block students. I had one in the fall that was a block 2, then I had a block 3 student this semester. And it's just constant communication, constant planning. We pre-plan everything. We discuss our schedule ahead of time. There's nothing that we don't talk about. I'm very open with the candidates, and I share, this is what you're going to encounter. This is what we have to cover. This is what we have going on. These are challenges that we may come across, and we have our plan, then we have our backup plan, and it's just that constant communication. Make sure that we collaborate together. We both share ideas, and we make it work.
Yeah. If I might add, too, that reliability is something that, you can look at it very scientifically, but I think in school districts, the reliability is that there's communication among all of the cooperating teachers and the clinical teacher supervisor and the clinical teacher director here at TAMIU, so that we all know what we're going to be looking for. We have this, and I think the schools use something called the Fundamental 5 as well.
Correct.
Yes, and which is it's a slightly more general observation that's not it's not used for particular evaluation that goes on their transcripts and things like that, but it's a way that all of us are in the same have the same understanding of what it is that we're looking for in a good teacher or a novice teacher who is growing in the practices during that semester of student teaching.
It seems a big theme of every, whether project or system or program that we've been talking about today, the underlying theme, whether it's with Laredo ISD or the university, is collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seems
Definitely.
like after COVID, the changes in being an educator, how has the job changed for you guys? Has it made that aspect of collaboration harder? Has it become maybe easier on the onset since it was absent for so?
Yeah, I think it was almost like it was coming back to where we were. And, during those 2.5 years or 2 years where we didn't have any contact, and what was going on in the schools was similar in the sense that we were doing it online, but we didn't have the kind of connection. But we didn't meet on a regular basis the way we do now. So our faculty and the school district's faculty and deans and so forth, we meet together. We have PD together. That we have that kind of communication. And that I don't know to what extent that was going on before, because I haven't been here that long. But my sense is, working in teacher education for the past almost 40 years, is that a teacher education program has to be in contact with the schools in which they place their students. And here at TAMIU and working with Laredo ISD, I think we've built a really strong relationship with the deans, with the superintendent, with principals, with the cooperating teachers. Myra Pena, who is the director of clinical teaching, she has a very, very deep knowledge and experience with lots of teachers in the district. So that and both LISD and UISD. So I think that puts us in a really good position to make sure that our students are placed with highly qualified teachers.
Yes, sir. Erica, anything you'd like to add on that?
No.
I know that was a broad question. You guys have been covering
Yeah,
pretty
he
much
pretty
everything.
much covered it all. It's all about communication, and from what I've seen, I definitely think communication wise has improved since COVID, just because when we were online and everything was virtual, we depended so much on cell phones and just being available pretty much 24/7. And I think we haven't gotten away from that. Prior to COVID, it was more like Monday through Friday. Weekends, we wouldn't really check our phones or whatnot. Then when COVID happened, we had to be flexible. We had to make sure that we were available to support our students, support parents, and whatnot. So I think that is something positive that came out, and we see it now. I can tell you with my with our student teachers, we're in contact all the time. I get emails from them or text messages from them Sunday night, and we reply and we collaborate. So there's that ongoing communication, 24/7. We're always in contact, and I think that really makes it so much easier.
And I know we drilled down on some specific things. We drilled down on some broad things. Is there anything that you say, hey, Garrett, I hope that the person maybe sitting on the other side of the camera knows this or knows that, or I think this is something that we should mention or is worth including? I know, again, that's another broad question out there, but it's one I got to ask.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. This whole experience is definitely, it's an amazing experience. It gives us as cooperating teachers an opportunity to share our knowledge, to share important details and just important information with student teachers, just to give them an insight as to what to expect. It's something like I tell, our student teachers, this is what real world is going to be like. And you gotta, really hit hard on discipline, for example. I was like, if you got that, everything else will fall in place. You gotta be able to communicate and just give them advice. Talk to administration. Your administration is great. Reach out to parents. They're supportive. So this whole experience just really gives us an opportunity to share what we've learned throughout the years and give them some valuable insights.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that theoretically, what Jean Lave, a professor at UC Berkeley, talks about is communities of practice, and that part of what happens in student teaching and as students move from field experience to student teaching is they begin to belong to that community of practice, and they start out in the middle and they grow out to become more and more like that. And it's not a linear process. It's much more of a connection process. It's figuring out, making mistakes when you do certain things, learning from those, redoing the practice, learning to elicit student thinking, learning to communicate well with parents, learning to interact with other teachers at the same grade level and those kinds of things. And that puts them in that community of practice. And if we can do that well, we think that both the school district and the teacher ed program really has achieved its goal.
And I think it's maybe a little bit off topic here, but I also think is an important question to ask. Say somebody sitting at home, lives here in Laredo, and is thinking about becoming a teacher, and they're evaluating this with other career fields. Is there any message that you would have for, say, them sitting at home? They're part of this community. They want to become a teacher, maybe.
It is a very rewarding experience. Yes, you're going to have your rough days, your challenges, but at the end of the day, everything will work out, and it is worth every single moment, just seeing the growth that happens throughout the years or throughout the year, sharing in their emotions. It is worth the time and effort. It is definitely rewarding.
Being a teacher is part of lifelong learning, and you're constantly you get a new set of kids every year. You get you get new parents to work with. There might be new curriculum. You can take additional professional development. So it's a constant learning process, and that's something that we pass on to the kids so that we're learning. And so many of the kids here, I tell you, having worked in other places, the students that come through LISD and UISD and come to TAMIU are just, they're amazing. Most are first generation. They have humility. They want to learn. They want to give back to their community. It's a sort of a sense. It's a feeling that they have that I just haven't experienced that elsewhere in other places. So and our teachers, the ones that go into teaching here, they stay.
Yes.
If you look at the statistics, most teachers will leave 3 to 5 years. Ours don't. They love it. it's a hard job. It's a hard, difficult, challenging job, but the experience that you get from that is just it's like unlike any other job. You know, my dad was a teacher and he loved teaching all his life. I've been a teacher all my life, and I unfortunately none of my children are, but it's one of the most rewarding things that I could ever imagine.
Yeah, well, passion and any level is contagious. And just talking to you guys both with Laredo ISD, United, and the university here, you could tell, I mean, passion trickles through all of y'all. And I can't thank you enough for not only what you do, but giving us some of your time today. And if you are sitting at home and interested in becoming a teacher or want more information on some of the programs that we discussed, please just visit the links that we have included on our website.